The following video was captured by Clayton, a hyper-obsessed gym member and a gamer who let nothing get in front of him and these hobbies. Now Clayton was actually in the last video on this channel, where he was doing something as simple as some workouts when all of a sudden a spirit began to mess with him. It created noises all around the house and lured him everywhere, finally taking him back to his workout location, and this is when the pin on the machine collapsed to the ground. He decided to be the bigger person and ignore this situation, but the very next day, something happened again. This time he was gaming all night and wanted to get his mind away from the potential of a ghost. The ghost could not help but remind him though, and started opening and closing his door, causing even more fear to be instilled within Clayton. After all of this, he decided to move house, but the process would take a full week, and the video that I am about to show to you took place 3 days into these 7.
I was literally just on the phone talking to my family about this.
Clayton heard knocking again, which was a common occurrence that came with this spirit, and it was followed by the same door as last time, opening and closing. This freaked him out, and in order to gain more proof of the poltergeist's existence, he approached the spirit with nothing but caution. Nobody was anywhere near the door, making this clip very believable. After this, Clayton made the decision to just tank it out and ignore the ghost for the final 4 nights. But unfortunately, it had opposite ideas. It caused so much havoc one night that Clayton was forced to record it, and what he got on camera was mesmerizing. This time around, the spirit was wreaking its havoc across the entire house and had Clayton chasing it around at 2 a.m. He was so ridiculously frightened that he didn't even talk in fear that it might annoy whatever was tormenting him and cause it to up its antics. This was a tough time for Clayton, and we are all very fortunate that we are not in a similar situation. On March the 31st of 2018, Belal, a man who lived in Spain, decided to visit and document an old house in Spain that was supposed to be haunted. He thought that this would be an interesting idea, due to him having no faith or belief in spirits or anything of the sort, so it would have been great to enlighten him otherwise. He went into this paranormal hellhole expecting nothing more than some creaks that were caused by animals, but what he really got was terrifying, and certainly opened his mind up to a world of poltergeists.
Esta casa la acabamos de comprar hace poco, rayada, y tratamos. Cuando yo me vine del hospital, me dijeron que, que estuve a punto de morir. Afortunadamente, Dios nos ayudó, no hay nadie. Pero yo siento, sueño y veo cosas, se caen cosas, donde dicen que me traje algo. Aquí es una actividades diferentes. Aquí algunas cosas se han movido y tratamos de captar lo más que se pueda. Lo más que se pueda en cuestionamientos de las cosas que se mueven. Tratando de... Miren, ahí está el primero. Ahí está el primero y eso es lo que me da. Eso es lo que me da miedo. No sé lo que pasa. Tratando de... Este monito se lo dieron a mi esposa en el hospital. No sé si agarrarlo o no, la verdad me da un poco de cosa. Ese mono se nos ha caído ya varias veces, hasta en la noche. No sé si realmente deba de agarrarlo o no, pero tratando. Ese mono, algunas cajas que tenemos aquí se nos han caído. Mi conejito, no sé si sea perspectivo, él capta a veces las cosas, se queda viendo lugares que no entiendo por qué, ¿verdad? Entonces vamos a tratar de captar varias cosas para ver si alguien nos puede ayudar. Alguien nos puede ayudar. Aquí no tratamos de engañar a nadie, solamente algunos cuadros que han estado derechos amanecen chuecos, como pueden ver, pero quiero captar lo más que se pueda. Vuelvo, es una vista panorámica para que vean que no hay nada, no hay nadie más que mi conejo me acompaña, tratando de captar. No me quiero quedar a oscuras. Mi familia sigue dormida y tengo miedo de comentarle a mis hijos porque están chiquitos, tienen miedo. Quiero captar lo más que se pueda. En este cuarto, como les comento, es donde hay más actividad. Aquí quiero captar algo, no sé qué pase, que se pueda realizar. Es el juego de los salón, bueno, es el cuarto de los niños, pero de hecho tratamos de captar lo más que se pueda mover, pero al final, ahí está el primero, no sé qué está pasando, Dios, tratando de separar lo más que se pueda captar. Como les digo, es el cuarto de los muchachos y tengo miedo de que ellos, Dios, tratando de hacer lo más que se pueda. Se empezó a mover muy leve, no sé qué pasa realmente. Como pueden ver, aquí no hay nadie, absolutamente nadie. Trato, vean, y vista panorámica donde no hay nadie. No sé qué pasa. A veces estoy solo y se mueven cosas muy fuertes, muy rápidas. Voy a tratar, si pueden ver, absolutamente nadie. Panorámica. Ahí se movió el patín ya. Ahí está. Dios. Ahí se acaba de caer.
Things started off with the doll collapsing to the ground, and Belal saw this and thought that maybe it was caused by his movement. As I said, he was a non-believer. after the scooter started to move and the fan collapsed, though he stepped outside the room and took a moment to consider the situation that he was in before drawing the only logical conclusion. This place was in fact haunted, and he was in fact leaving. When it gets late at night, there tends to be nobody around, and this can cause an eerie and terrifying atmosphere. This is why most people won't go to dodgy locations at such times, but due to some peer pressure, Franchesco thought otherwise. He stayed out with his friends until way past midnight, and eventually, when they decided to walk 3 minutes home, he had to go back to his motorcycle in the parking lot. Once he arrived at the parking complex, he noticed a shopping trolley move, so took out his camera to see if he could get anything strange on record. This is what he found.
Minha gente, aquele carro ali, ele mexeu. Eu parei com a moto aqui agora. Eu tô ficando doido. Ó, e o outro lá mexeu. Esse carro aqui. Tem alguma coisa aqui. Quem é que tá aí? Você mexeu o carro, mexa agora. Mexa esse carrinho que tá aí. Olha. Olha. Vixe. Meu Deus do céu. Vocês viram? Passou por ali. A moto deu partida. Olha, sozinha. Meu Deus.
First of all, the shopping cart moved again, and it was obvious that no force could have acted upon it. Furthermore, there would have been little to no wind down there, making for a silly excuse being off the cards. This was not the scariest thing that happened, though. Franchesco turned around to check that his motorcycle was doing okay, but little did he know that it would have a life of its own. He quickly ended the recording and got onto his motorcycle, and it took him home normally. This was strange nonetheless. Hot Dogs Gaming is a YouTube channel that has never uploaded any paranormal content, so when he eventually did, people were quick to believe him. He had notified his followers that he would be attending a large birthday party to commemorate his cousin's 18th. The party was great according to all attendees and had many unique features for an 18th, such as a laser tag section and a go-karting track. There was one thing that this party had that absolutely no other did though. That thing was a spirit. Have a look.
Anong nangyayari? Guys, tingnan nyo. What the fuck? Uy, damn. Wala akong ginagalaw, oh, damn. Creepy. Oh, yun. What the fuck? Shucks. Kung nandyan guys sa panga. Oh, what the fuck?
This one video from the part captured a spirit toying with what seemed to be a water bottle, and it went viral. Everybody at the party wanted to watch the video, and the person who caught it managed to become the most popular person there when the word came out. There was nothing surrounding the bottle, so it was odd that this happened, especially considering nothing else did on that night. Having children ends up being the most joyful point of most people's lives, and it is understandable as to why. These little humans bring happiness and pride to their parents, and give them another element of happiness that they never knew they needed to unlock. Enough of the positivity though, because this is a haunter video. A lot of children tend to develop something called an imaginary friend, where they pretend they know somebody who is invisible. Parents are often creeped out by this because the children paint them to be these uncanny-looking demons, and this was the case for the child in the following video. He had a paranormal friend called Edward, and his parents believed it was just a phase until this was recorded.
This dude's actually just sat like he's talking to someone, but his brother's downstairs. And me. Who are you talking to?
Edward.
Who's Edward?
He's right there.
Nope.
Edward supposedly launched something across the room from the front of the child, and the father quickly left. He explained to his wife what had happened, and they both decided it was best to call it a coincidence, and that Edward was most definitely imaginary. Do you think that they handled the situation well? Let me know in the comment section down below, and subscribe whilst you are at it. The following video was recorded by Kylie, a recently divorced widow who lost the love for her husband a long time ago. Over the past 2 weeks, she had constantly been hearing knocking from the bathroom door at random moments, and every single time she went to investigate, nothing would be there. She was growing suspicious of the whole situation and told herself that next time it happened, she would 100% catch the spirit in the act on camera, and she stuck to that promise, as you are going to see. Have a watch.
Okay, so I'm at home right now and I'm in my room editing videos, and I'm literally home by myself, and I keep hearing like this knocking noise coming from our master bathroom, and I'm like literally shaking, and I've been hearing it like for the past few Hey guys, I can't believe I got this on camera. No, nothing's here, look. The window's closed. I keep thinking like maybe it's the window.
She opened the door, and as she claimed, nobody or nothing was on the other side. Her comments and her all theorized that whatever was doing it to her window, but that just would not line up, because who would spend their time bashing a bathroom window and doing nothing else? To be honest, the whole situation was odd. Marco was staying in an Airbnb whilst he was in the process of moving house. He was moving due to paranormal circumstances, where he would constantly hear weird noises around the household without even having anybody over. He was relieved to be away from the house and finally felt a sense of warmth and security, but little did he know that the spirit followed him.
Ahí están los quejidos que les dijimos el otro día, raza. Ya van varios días que escuchamos esos quejidos, ¿verdad? Ahorita es de mañana, pero se han escuchado de madrugada. A esa hora de escuchar. Están los perros. ¿Qué creen que sea?
The noises continued, and at this point, he wasn't even frustrated. He was just fed up and disappointed with life. The spirit was clearly attached to him rather than the home, and there was nothing he could do about it. So contently, he just decided to keep it around. The occasional noise couldn't be the end of the world. The following video took place in the kitchen of Don, a young adult who had only recently purchased his own property. Him and his best friend Jackson had bought the house together after running a fairly successful business, of which they went on to sell. Its main usefulness was being close to college, but other than that, they might as well have stayed in their parents' homes. On the positive side, though, the house had no direct correlations to paranormal activity, which was a huge no-go for Don especially. He was a believer in the spiritual world, and was very relieved when his poltergeist-driven questions were denied. However, little did anybody know that he would become the first to experience something of that nature in the house.
Snake, you a jerk. Why I gotta be a jerk? Cause you are.
He said he is a jerk. Wow. What's up, Brad? What's been doing? Burning?
What? You got still see the little. What little you?
Yes, I'm ready to burn now.
So you are?
I'm a burn man.
You? Yeah, right.
Bad, bro. Red, nigga. I've been taking them out. Yeah. Hey, I got I need a battery for my other app. I got a cold. It's got this big. It's tough. Yes, you ought to see it, bro. All of the whole thing. No, it's an apple. Yeah. Hold on. That mother got shot.
Strangely, if you paid very close attention, the chair moved by itself, which really frightened the duo after they looked back on the footage. It is also very clear that no rope or anything that could influence the chair to move was present, so this must have been the first sighting of a spirit within the house in years. On April 20th of 2024, Roland was minding his own business when something from the underworld decided to pay him a visit. Now Roland is no noob to paranormal experiences and has actually posted several other encounters on his decently sized channel. He's pretty much known as the ghost guy. Even people so used to such a strange world can feel fear in its presence though, and you could tell that this was the case in the upcoming clip.
This way. What the hell? Alright, that just freaking popped out of nowhere. That couldn't just come out of nowhere. That just... Alright, there's nobody back behind this clown except for the clown itself. Oh my god, no.
Somehow, some sort of clown figure popped around the corner, and the weird thing is that Roland did not even own something like that. It was extremely random for it to have almost spawned in, and even Roland, who as previously mentioned is no amateur when it comes to these things, paused dead in his tracks. Fortunately for us viewers though, he was not finished with his search. After such a terrifying experience, most people would turn around and accept defeat, leaving the haunted location for good. Not Roland. He was, and still is, a different breed. Whether it was smart or stupid, he wanted to continue his search just in case he caught something just as special, and he did.
Oh, am I dealing with whatever's here existing? Because... Whoa. Alright, you need to chill out with this. Yeah, it's a dad joke, but... Alright, now, Omar was talking about one of these dolls, like, really haunted. And I believe it's back here. Right there. It's just sitting here. It's sitting right in there. And of course,
As he entered the kitchen, the refrigerator started operating by itself, and Roland was confused to say the least. The fact that both doors did this as well was crazy, and he was definitely not going to visit this house again. Rihanna was a Scottish woman who had been pregnant for 7 whole months and loved the idea of having a baby. Her husband was just as excited as she was, but they were having some trouble coming up with names. The father wanted to call the son Gabriel and believed it was a unique yet appealing name. However, the wife believed it to be too feminine in the modern day. She wanted something simple that would not get her son mocked like Freddie. One night when Rihanna was sitting on the sofa talking to her baby, let's call him Freddie, she suddenly experienced one of the spookiest instances of her life, and it was not easy to recover from. Take a look.
Come on, Freddie. I know we call you Freddie, but we don't know what to call you yet. But we like it. Wowzers.
Out of absolutely nowhere, the can of Foster's flew to the ground, and there are quite a lot of theories surrounding this seemingly random event. In case you did not know, pleasurous beverages such as Foster's are not healthy to drink if you are carrying a child. It can lead to things such as deformities and growth issues, so perhaps the spirit was attempting to send a sign to Rihanna that what she was doing was far from worth it. I guess the truth is that we will never know for sure, though. On a Tuesday night in Russia, Vladov was relaxing in his bedroom all alone after a long and hard week at work. His boss had been ridiculously harsh on him for 7 days and piled too much work for him to handle, so all he needed was a lovely night to rest. Unfortunately, he is in a haunter video though, so of course this dream night did not become a reality.
Пожалуйста, очередная долбежка в окно. Продолжается уже месяца 3. Примерно каждые 2 недели. Не знаю, так видно, не видно. Вот и ебал я такие приколы.
For some unknown reason, a weird scraping sound started playing for a long period of time, and Vladov spent his minutes trying to figure out what the source of it was. Eventually, he discovered that it was from his radiator, but nothing was visibly scraping against it. This had to be the act of a poltergeist. In the following video, a family were playing a huge game of hide and seek after the youngest child suggested that they play it. They were having a gathering due to the death anniversary of the wisest person who held the family's surname, their grandma, and the parents accepted the hide and seek challenge in hopes that it would cheer the before grieving children up a little. As you are about to discover for yourself, this did not work.
待ってよちょっと待ってよ今見えたぞどこだあれこっちどこですかどこかなあ、ここかなこっちかな手であ、いない見えたこっちいそうここらへんここかなどこかなあれいないあれどこあれ
For a solid 10 seconds, the seeker believed that they had found Coco, her daughter. But sometimes things are not as they seem to be. Moments after spotting Coco peeking around the hole, she came running to her mother with all of her friends, which was very curious, inciting to say the least. Later on in the evening, when all of the other children went home, the mother asked her daughter how she managed to sneak out of the wooden hut so quickly. The response was horrifying. She was hiding on the other side of the boundary. Baby cameras are an ever-growing product across the USA, and the following video is one of the prime reasons why this is the case. In the early stages of any baby's life, it is important to have eyes on them at all times, in the rare event that something terrible happens, and a rare event definitely happened here. In fact, many would go and describe it as being beyond rare. Now the wife claimed that the baby willingly crawled under the bed, but that simply made no sense considering that it was on its side and clearly trying to kick away from something. An entity of some sort was under there, attempting to harm the girl, or at least cause some disruption to her sleeping schedule. To further back up this claim, this was not the only time the event happened, and the baby has been pulled under the bed on another occasion. This one was more debatable, but something happened for sure. What do you think? The act of an evil spirit or simply a kid hiding from something? Let me know in the comments. Bill was an ethics professor at the University of Michigan and had spent more than a decade teaching there. However, he had always loved music and wanted to teach music at a university someday as well. He was an excellent musician. He played the piano, the violin, all types of guitars, and even the cello. However, since he didn't have a degree in music, he was turned down by numerous colleges and universities he had applied to. Then, one day, he found a high school in Texas looking for a band teacher and decided to apply. He didn't expect much, but surprisingly, he got a reply, asking him to resume as soon as possible. The pay was measly, but for Bill, it wasn't about the pay. It was about achieving the dreams he'd always had. Within a week, he was in Texas and had found an apartment that he loved. However, that was when things started getting weird. First, his doors seemed to have a mind of their own, opening at will and closing with a forceful bang once in a while. Bill wasn't too fond of this, but he also didn't want to bother too much until this fateful day.
Okay, everyone. This house is kind of freaking me out. Weird things continue to happen. The other day I put on Facebook about a light in my basement that keeps coming on. There's other things that are happening. Finding things just on the floor. Just things are moving. I know they were in certain places before, and then all of a sudden they end up in another spot. But I'm gonna just try to continue my life as I normally would, and so what I've done to help keep my mind off these oddball things, I'm doing something different, and went out and bought a pomegranate. Now, I've never eaten a pomegranate before, so what I've learned is that the first thing you need to do is get yourself a good sized bowl. So I've got a good sized bowl in the cupboard here, and I will get the bowl out. Not this one. I like this one here. This should be perfect right here. So put that. I'm going to put that way back over there. I got a plate here for cutting, and we're going to put these back into the cupboard. Okay. Now, what I've learned about pomegranates is that you don't necessarily eat the meat of it, I guess you call it, like you would an apple, and that's what I always thought you would do, is eat a pomegranate like you did an apple. That's what I always heard they were similar to, but actually you eat the seeds. So you have to pound the seeds out and put them into the bowl, and then from there you can sit there and eat the seeds, and they're actually very good. I've eaten half of one before. I'm going to get the... Wait a minute. That bowl just moved. Oh my God. It happened again. I had the bowl sitting here. You saw me put it over there, and now it's here. There are some weird things happening around here.
He had decided to make a video to send to his wife and kids, but ended up noticing paranormal activity with the plate he wanted to use to serve his pomegranates. That was when a thought came to mind. He'd set up cameras around the house to pick up any strange activity. It seemed like he was doing too much, but soon his thoughts were proven right.
Okay. I'm arriving home here after doing some running around. And I'm just really curious what kinds of things I'm going to find that have happened in my house when I'm gone. Sort of paranormal type of things. Many of you know that from Facebook postings before, I've had some issues with some paranormal activities. Just really kind of worried about what it is that I'm going to find here in the house now. Actually kind of nervous. Well, so far everything's looking kind of normal. I do kind of smell something though. That's kind of different. Something's kind of spoiled. Not the compactor. Not the refrigerator. It smells like it's coming from this direction. Don't like this door. Hang on, get some light here. It's definitely stronger over here. God, it smells bad. Okay. No. Nothing in there. It's cold up here too. Definitely smells like, oh God, it's bad. It smells like death itself. Holy cow. Very putrid, like decayed type of smell. Oh. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, this is bad. No, not in that room. Oh, whew. No, it's not coming from this room. No. Yeah, it definitely smells like it's coming from the bathroom here. Oh, this is bad. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. False alarm. I just forgot to flush the toilet. Sorry everyone. Happy Halloween. Hope you enjoyed the videos I made as much as I've made them. Hope you all don't unfriend me on Facebook, but happy Halloween.
A poltergeist had been messing with his sheet music and doors. Bill decided to call a local priest, who helped him deal with the situation afterward. Father Francis told him that he was lucky. If the activity had continued for a few more months, it might have been impossible to get the spirit out. Charles was a ranch hand at an outback ranch in New Mexico. He loved his job and the lifestyle it provided. It was easy for him to get everything he wanted at the local market, return home, and enjoy the night alone after a hard day's work. He loved riding horses, and he was even learning to ride a bull. But there was one thing Charles was starting to fall in love with more: the bass guitar. He had bought an electric one and was slowly learning to play at home during his spare time. It was during one of those sessions that something extremely strange happened.
under there. Nothing attached to the chair. Door shut. No one else in here but me.
It was the first time he had experienced such a thing. He was a little scared because he had heard many stories about malevolent spirits who hated the sound of guitars. He did the one thing he knew how to do. He took his rosary, prayed St. Michael's prayer of protection, and sprinkled some holy water under the table. He never had such an experience again. On November the 1st of 2019, a family of 5 were all at rest, enjoying their night. Due to the eldest brother having one of his friends over for a sleepover, the youngest was told to sleep on the couch downstairs, and he did not complain, considering he would be able to watch the television late at night without being caught. Of course, it got to a point where he became too tired, and the child started to doze off. However, something in the corridor stopped him from doing this. Some sort of apparition could be seen in the hallway, and it has been confirmed that this was nobody who was supposed to be there. Furthermore, the fact that it disappeared led the family into believing it was a spirit, which is why they posted it onto social media. Sahill was the star player on his high school basketball team. He was so good that he earned the nickname Steph Curry, thanks to his exceptional three-point shots, as well as his love for chicken curry. His school team was in the state championship, and they were sure they were going to win this year. They had trained through the summer break and had a great chance of winning. In fact, they had won all the friendlies they played by wide margins, and everyone was confident they'd win. However, a few weeks before the start of the games, something horrible happened. Sahill got into a car accident and was unconscious for 2 whole days. The doctor said it was a mini coma, and after some treatment, he seemed fine. But in reality, he wasn't. Sahill's game was off, and he wasn't as sharp as he used to be. However, there was something else that was strange. Sahill had started to see. He began seeing things that seemed out of the ordinary, and they just kept getting more and more real. One time, after late-night practice, Sahill was making a video on his phone and then noticed this. He showed his friends the video, and for the first time, they all saw the same things he saw. It was scary and left every one of the boys horrified. One of the boys, Sanjay, offered to help Sahill. He took him to a video priestess he knew, and apparently, Sahill had been to the great beyond during his 2-day coma, which was why the spirits kept following him. After a long and tedious ritual, Sahill entered another coma for 3 days. Guess what? He actually got better this time. He was back in top form and played remarkably well in the tournament, helping his school win the state championship. After months of trying with no success, Ashley and Mason managed to give birth to their first ever child. They named her Lois after Mason's mother and were very thankful that their long wait was finally over. But it wasn't long before strange things started happening with Lois. She talked earlier than most kids and even began speaking in full sentences much sooner than usual. But there was something much more worrying. She always talked about ghosts.
5 minutes! 5 minutes! We're gonna be back!
back in 5 minutes. What are you scared of? Alright, before you go, say, Happy New Year.
I'm scared.
What are you scared of?
I'm scared.
Of what?
I'm scared.
I'm scared too. Of my own life.
My ghost.
There's not a ghost, you psycho. Did you hear that? She said she's afraid of the ghost. Where's the ghost?
Ghost.
Where is it? Where's the ghost? Show mommy. Point to it. You're fine. Where is it? Point. Is it over there? Is it over there? Is it over there? Where is it?
Ghost.
Where's the ghost?
Ghost.
Where? Is it Grandpa?
Yeah.
It's not? What's the matter? Okay, come here. Do you see what I deal with? What happened? See?
The child claimed to have seen a ghost, and understandably, the mother did not believe her one bit. However, after quite a bit of crying, even Ashley started to feel the fear boiling inside of her. Once the video ended, she took Lois to the local cafe so that they could calm down and eat some chocolate cake. But all we can do is hope that this saga did not continue because we received no updates afterwards. Cody was a collector with a few years of experience gathering Native American artifacts, from dolls to paintings to headwear and everything in between. It wasn't extremely lucrative, but it was enough to put food on the table and give him enough time to even have a farm. Cody lived in Wyoming, in a suburban home in Cheyenne, a small apartment that he shared with his dog. On a sunny Tuesday afternoon, Cody decided to visit one of his friends, Sam. Sam lived at the edge of the city and was in the same line of business as Cody. The two had some drinks and sat on the porch, talking about their favorite topic, Native American history. Later, Sam said he was leaving the artifact business to take a job teaching Native American history at a European university. He asked Cody to take care of his stuff until he returned. That evening, Cody packed up most of Sam's artifacts and drove to his house. He arranged the items around his home and went to bed, feeling a bit sad. The next morning, he woke up to loud banging on his door, and his dog was losing it.
My dog's freaking out. I keep hearing, like, knocking at my door. I look out the window. There's nothing. See what I mean? Stay in here, buddy. I'll put them things in that damn cabinet. What the fuck was that? Yeah, I gotta get rid of these damn things. There's somebody that's gonna take one of them. I don't know which one, but...
Cody was a bit scared, but he knew just what to do. He had to find the artifact causing the supernatural activity. He had thought about cleansing Sam's artifacts before bringing them into his home, but he had forgotten since it was already late at night when he arrived. So, he had to go the long route. That day, he set up cameras and went off to his farm to get work done. When he returned, he realized something strange.
that? Bro. The whole camera just flew off the shelf. What? Okay.
The camera had been thrown off the shelf by some external force. That evening, Cody reinforced the area and set the camera back up. He caught some strange activity but couldn't quite make sense of it. He went to the living room, where another camera had been set up, to get some reading done so he could perform the cleansing himself. However, something crazy happened.
Gotta look that was captured. Here's the back of the picture. That's not broke. It wasn't fixed or anything like that either. And look, the nail is still in the wall. What the fuck? Damn, that tried to take me out. Shit. Fuck y'all, man.
Right in the middle of reading, a painting on his wall almost took his head off. It had been well placed on the wall, and the string hadn't even broken. Cody was sure this was supernatural activity. He didn't expect it to be this intense, to the point of wanting to kill him. So, he did what he had to do. He ran. He packed up his stuff and slept in a motel that night. The very next day, he called a local priest known for dealing with such things and returned to his house with him. Father Nathan was able to find the particular item causing all the havoc. It was a cursed doll about the size of a mobile phone. Father Nathan got rid of it, and Cody got his life back together again. Ruth was a single mother who lived in Compton and made a living by cleaning the houses of rich celebrities in nearby Beverly Hills. Ruth was hardworking and extremely industrious, but somehow she never had enough money to pay all her bills. One day, while working at a new client's house, she found a stash of $100 bills lying around in an old kitchen cabinet that hadn't been used in a while. She counted them, and it came to $600. The exact amount she needed for her rent that month. She thought long and hard and then slipped it into her sneakers, continuing with her work. Ruth had Latin American roots, so she had heard some horror stories from her grandmother and knew a little Spanish folklore. However, she assumed they were just stories made to scare little kids. It wasn't until she saw a photo of what looked like El Coco, the Spanish boogeyman, staring at her in the dark that she started to get worried.
the fuck did sådana här?
Tro mig bara. Säg bara.
This was followed by banging noises and weird sounds in her room that continued for a while. She knew what she had done, and she also knew what to do to get rid of El Coco. The very next day, Ruth took the money and returned it to her client, explaining what had happened. Luckily for her, Miss Janice was more than happy to part with the $600, knowing that Ruth would actually use it for her rent. In the end, the strange noises stopped, and Ruth was able to live in peace again. Roland with me is a YouTuber well known for his haunting videos that gather views of over 3,000 on a consistent basis. He may be past his peak, but his content is just the same as before, and it sends chills down the spines of his audience consistently. The video you are about to watch was taken in his actual house, which was rather different compared to his usual paranormal location videos. He would typically venture out into the unknown to discover what he could, but for once, this video brought the suffering to his doorstep. This first clip was captured towards the beginning of his recording and would have scared any man enough to make them scream. However, Roland is one brave person, and he handled this quite maturely. Take a look.
Clock. Let me know. And why are you messing with my clock? Let me know that you are here. Show me some kind of sign. Do something. Did you just make the clock move? Alright, Alright, what the fuck was that? Alright, that clock just literally moved. Did you just make the clock move? Show me a sign. Do something. Holy fuck. Alright, that time, holy shit. Alright.
For some strange reason, the clock started going crazy for a split second before returning back to its normal state as if nothing happened at all. This left Roland not in a state of fear, but a state of utter disbelief as he stood there staring at the clock, almost as if he expected it to move again. Despite this crazy sighting though, Roland eventually became unfazed and decided to search the rest of his house for crazy stuff, and eventually he came across this.
There's someone upstairs! Alright. I swear it sounded like that f***ing chair just moved. Are you moving the chair? Okay. Alright. Why are you moving the chair? Are you trying to tell me something? Is there a reason why you're moving the chair in here? And messing with the clock? Can you speak to me? Can you let me know if you're happy or sad? Can you let me know?
Somehow the chair moved by itself, and this time Ronald was much more curious. It was very rare for a spirit to comply with him so easily, which took him aback, and understandably so. Camera-shy spirits are surprisingly very common, despite the endless amount of clips we see online of them doing whatever they want in front of one. These spirits will do everything in their power to torment somebody, and have the audacity to stop whenever they pull out a camera. This is horrible because it leads the victim to having no proof, and they cannot tell anyone without being deemed a psychopath. This was almost the harsh reality for Jack. Jack was certain that his house was haunted, as his last few weeks had been riddled with paranormal activity. Despite this, whenever he pulled out a camera, nothing would happen. He made it his mission to capture this spirit in the act, and would not stop until it gave up on trying to stay hidden, and eventually he succeeded.
Bro, our fridge just opened. trying to waste electricity. Hopefully we'll get some, because every time something happens, I can barely ever catch it. I swear I just seen something move over there. Don't mind you, we gotta clean. I got a daughter, so she's a little reckless, and I gotta wash some cups. Bro, I just saw that out the corner of my eye. I wish I would have got that. Can you make it move again? No? Okay. Bro, stop playing with me. Hello? Hello? Can you do it again? Man. Bro, you just spilt water all over my floor, dude. Are you serious? Bro. Yo. You got water dripping all over my f***ing floor now. At least it's water. Wasting electricity. Let fucking air in my house. Alright, yo, I gotta clean this up. I might as well just do these dishes too, since I already got water all over my damn floor. Alright, y'all.
As surprising as this was for Jack, the spirit spilt water all over the room on camera, and this must have been really annoying for him. Although his goal had been reached and he managed to obtain actual footage of the ghost, it made a damn awful mess, and it took him 10 minutes to tidy up. I'm sure it was an accident from the ghost, and it was just trying to do as he asked, but this definitely was not as pleasant of an experience as Jack intended it to be. Zach and his family were all fast asleep late at night when the most unexpected alarm clock sounded. The only difference was that this one did not at all sound like an alarm, rather a bang. Curious as to what caused the bang, Zach decided he would go and investigate the room which he believed it came from. Little did he know that this was going to be a huge mistake. Strangely, the chair slid across the room, and Zach was understandably put into fear by this. He sprinted back to his bedroom, but was careful not to wake up his son and wife. When he arrived at his bed, he decided to check the cameras for what the bang truly was, and this is what he discovered. If you were looking towards the right at the sofa, 2 toys fell from it without any human interaction. Upon checking this clip, Zach knew that his house must have been haunted and decided to start capturing as much evidence as possible. Make sure to subscribe because we will likely discuss the other evidence in future videos. On September 13th of 2018, Javier was sleeping home alone when one of the most disturbing nights of his life came to haunt him out of nowhere. We actually discussed Javier's backstory in another video on this channel, but in short, his brother, of whom he shared a haunted house with, passed away, and he was left to deal with the spirit alone. The doctors had no idea why he passed away, but they decided to pin it down to old age. Javier was convinced that the spirit did it to him. It was 3:12 a.m. on Javier's second week without his brother when the following clip was caught.
Gente, se cortó la luz. Estaba escuchando llorar a un bebé.
¡Oh, la puta madre!
For some bizarre reason, Javier could hear baby noises coming from the old playroom, and this made zero sense considering he had no children. As well as this, the spirit he was dealing with never actually made noise like this before, which was very trippy to say the least. Perhaps the ghost was starting to evolve. Who knows? What we do know is that Javier ended up selling the house on the housing market, but has not yet found a new place to stay. All we can do is wish him luck on this strugglesome search. In the following video, we step into the shoes of Henry, a British ghost hunter known for his bravery and ambition. He was renowned for being unable to feel fear in the spiritual industry and was one of the go-to people in his local area if you were suffering a ghostly problem. He had been doing the job for 3 years after all. Now, we actually looked into Harry in a very recent video on this channel, so you should do some scouring around for him. But essentially, he went on a ghost hunting mission to a mansion known as the Place of Nightmares. This mansion was so ridiculously riddled with the paranormal that it was able to create a full 20-minute video of clips for Harry, which I am slowly discussing across my videos, so subscribe to not miss them. Anyway, in the specific clip that you are about to see, Harry was wandering through the corridors of this building when he heard some suspicious noises coming from behind. Instinctively, he followed these noises trying to get some extra content, and indeed he did.
To be fair, the building's full of water. I'm not surprised I'm hearing shit. I'm hearing so much stuff, man. I'm gonna try and ignore it. Until I get a clear sign there is somebody here. Oh my god.
If you were paying very close attention as Harry reached the bottom of the stairs, a shadow figure could be seen in the doorway, and it is important to note that this was a solo mission without even a camera crew. Some leading theories were that this was a homeless man, or Harry was just lying, but I believe that the figure looked way too dark and mysterious to have been a human from the land of the living. That is for you to decide in the comments, though. The man you are about to watch the footage from was called Paul, and he formerly lived a very haunted life. His old house was absolutely horrible for paranormal activity, and the spirits would go as far as launching dangerous objects directly at him. It was not a nice experience at all. Fortunately, Paul was in a great position to move house though, and moved closer to the deserts in Nevada. However, it was not long until he discovered that he had not abandoned his spirit, just relocated it.
Hello? Hello?
This was the first time since moving house that Paul experienced something along these lines, and it really took him off guard. He never gave the idea of the spirit tracking him down any thought and dismissed it, even after his wife explained it to him several times. He paid the price, clearly. The unlucky thing is that he could not afford to move house again, so was stuck in that property for a good few years. It is unknown whether or not he managed to relocate without the poltergeist by his side, but you will be the first to know if that does happen. Hotels are supposed to be a place of peace and comfort where people can visit to have a healthy and safe night. Of course, these services cost money, but if you were the person in the next clip, then you would most certainly want a refund, because his experience was horrific. It was so poor that he published the video onto the Google reviews section of the hotel, so that everybody could be aware of what it had in store, and it is safe to say that this may have driven away a couple of customers.
A couple times already. And I don't know. Oh, crap. I know I got that. That's crazy. The phone, anything? Oh. Can you tell me your name? I can't hear you. Can you maybe speak a little louder? Oh my goodness. Okay, I know you're in here. I just want to know what your name is. And if there's anything I can do to help you. Is there anything at all? Can you tell me what it is that you're looking for?
Somehow, the telephone continued to fall off of its stand, despite being well balanced, and the towel and hanger even managed to join in on the fun. Now this was obviously shocking for Joe, the recorder, who only wanted to stay for a night but actually decided to check out of the hotel 4 hours early. He spent the next week or so beckoning for a refund from the hotel, but to his dismay, they did not permit one considering that what happened was out of control. Should he have received his refund? I am keen to hear what you think about this in the comment section. The man you are about to watch the footage from was called Paul, and he formerly lived a very haunted life. His old house was absolutely horrible for paranormal activity, and the spirits would go as far as launching dangerous objects directly at him. It was not a nice experience at all. Fortunately, Paul was in a great position to move house though, and moved closer to the deserts in Nevada. However, it was not long until he discovered that he had not abandoned his spirit, just relocated it. This was the first time since moving house that Paul experienced something along these lines, and it really took him off guard. He never gave the idea of the spirit tracking him down any thought and dismissed it, even after his wife explained it to him several times. He paid the price, clearly. The unlucky thing is that he could not afford to move house again, so was stuck in that property for a good few years. It is unknown whether or not he managed to relocate without the poltergeist by his side, but you will be the first to know if that does happen. The following video was an extremely unsettling one, and for different reasons than usual. Typically on this channel, the reactions to spirits that we watch are full of fear and fright, but the one that I am about to show to you, much different. It took place in a dude's kitchen, and he was simply recording a video for an Instagram story when one of the most unexpected things happened, which made it go viral.
So I know at this point this goes without saying, but I should not drink anymore. I went a whole fucking while without drinking. Without drinking alcohol, and like I was like, hey, let me relax, drink some fucking White Claws, get white girl wasted and all that other shit. And it started happening again. And this isn't like, I mean, it's not news or anything. I figured it's because I drink.
Mid-speech, his protein powder fell to the shelf below its resting spot, which was very odd. What made this clip ever more disturbing, though, was the fact that the boy behind the camera only gave it a pause for a reaction and didn't do anything else. Quite a unique reaction to a unique experience, I must say. Mario was a third-generation Latin American whose grandparents had migrated from Mexico in search of greener pastures back in the 1950s, a few years after the war. He had heard that his abuela tell crazy stories of El Cucuy, La Llorona, and numerous others like that. For some reason, he wasn't scared like his other siblings were. Instead, he was much more interested in the weird and strange things his abuela did at the back of the house on cold summer nights when no one was watching. One day, he confronted her about this, and she opened up about her old life as a voodoo priestess and how she had learned to connect with the supernatural. Mario loved the idea of this and learned all he could from his abuela. They were extremely close to each other until the day she died. Mario's involvement with his grandma made him so hungry for the supernatural that he started going around town looking for haunted houses and places where he could see ghosts. It was in one of his outings that this unreal video was taken.
Tengo mucho miedo. Me quedé solo en la casa. Me han pasado cosas desde que vi ese maldito video. Escucho cosas. No hay luz. No sé qué hacer. Escucho muchas cosas. Ay, Dios, tengo miedo. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Quién está ahí? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¡No mames!
He literally saw the chair move by itself, but he didn't even move a muscle because of how used to it he was. It was something he had seen over and over again. Mara had decided to do some antique shopping to decorate her brand new home, but she didn't expect to exactly see much. She just wanted to get some new kitchenware and any cute items that she might find. When she got to the shop, the old lady there was somewhat grumpy and didn't give Mara much attention. She just ignored her though and decided to look around for the stuff she came for. Fortunately, Maria came across a leather purse from the 1950s, some washed-up Levi's jeans, and a new china set, just as she had hoped. After finding these amazing items and being on the verge of checking out, something cutesy caught her eye, and she could not resist it. A locally made doll, dressed in traditional Indian attire. Immediately after seeing it, she couldn't take her eyes off it. Curiously, Mara inspected the doll and realized that the price tag was missing, which was odd to say the least, and went to inquire to the woman on the till. The woman looked at her strangely and slowly replied, "This one is free." Mara was surprised that such an intricately made doll had no price and snatched at the offer, oblivious as to what it was about to do to her life. It was after a few weeks of having the doll around that she started to realize why it came for nothing. After starting to feel weird about the doll, she decided it was best to set up a camera near it and find out what the problem was. Surprisingly, the camera actually caught some movement, and the doll made the tiniest of moves before the camera malfunctioned. Coincidence? I think not. Jeremy had always been an observant person. He was also very big on the small details, so when things started changing positions in his home, he easily noticed. Jeremy had a roommate called Ed who spent his time at the hospital being a nurse. This meant that there was no chance Ed was behind these movements. Due to this conclusion, Jeremy suspected some supernatural activity, so he bought a few crucifixes, asked a priest to bless them, and hung them at different places in the house. It was then that he truly experienced more paranormal events, and it got so bad that Jeremy had to whip out his camera to record this.
Okay, I've been hearing banging for a good little while now. It comes from the bathroom door over there and then from the front. Do you hear it? Did you hear that? I'm just literally about to pick something to watch and I can hear banging on the... Can you hear it? It's this door. You okay? I don't know what is going on in here today. I'm completely on my own in here as well. There's no room in here either. What a crazy encounter. Now, I'll give you a bit of backstory. So, folks, I've been waiting to show you that video for months now. I caught it at the end of the summer, around August time, when paranormal activity was quite rife in my house, which I believe to be connected to a few of the haunted objects I've collected over time. Now, since this, nothing's happened in the house, apart from very recently when we were on holiday. My mum and sister were minding the house for us and heard someone again knocking on that door, the front door, opened it straight away and there was nobody there. And that's the first thing that's happened in a little while. So I just wanted to share it with you. It's absolutely genuine what I caught one day a couple of months ago, but I wanted to save it for the Halloween season with it being so incredibly good, if you will call it that. Let me know what you thought.
This was a full series of paranormal events captured in broad daylight, and Jeremy did not hesitate to contact his roommate about the possibility of living somewhere else. Fortunately, Ed agreed, and they would go on to leave just 1 week later, making Jeremy recover from this spooky day. Juego was a single dad who had a full-time job as a doctor and also took care of his twin daughters. They were 8-year-olds at the time and asked a lot of questions about the silliest of topics. Every time Juego had to come up with something that would somehow satisfy their young and playful minds. However, there was one night when this was not possible. The duo came to Juego with their barrage of questions when they were supposed to be in bed. But this time, one of their questions was quite unusual. They asked about a woman in their wardrobe who always came to kiss them goodnight. He was rather surprised by the question, but ended up telling them it was their guardian angel, and they believed the story, running back upstairs happy as ever. Juego, on the other hand, was not so pleased. After a few weeks, the girls mentioned that their guardian angel wasn't coming around as often as she used to, so Juego told them that she was perhaps a bit tired. This is when he started to treat this as a paranormal case and set out to find proof. One day, he dropped the girls off at their grandma's and decided to spend the night alone. His plan was to stay awake through the night and make sure nothing out of the ordinary was happening. However, when he heard a noise from the girls' room, his instincts kicked in. He picked up his phone and hit record on the camera.
¿Qué pasa, Sansa? De acá viene el ruido. Ey, ey, ey. Qué mierda, ey, ey. Vete de mi casa. Ey, ey, ey. ¿Qué fue eso? Ey, andate de mi casa, no quiero que estés acá, andate, andate. ¿Qué es eso? Escuchá, escuchá, escuchá. No puede ser, no puede ser. Concha de la lora. Ey, 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 andate de mi casa. La puta madre, lo único que me falta ahora.
We know how protective fathers can be of their girls, and this time, it most definitely paid off. Juego actually had to call an exorcist after this event, even though it seemed like the benevolent spirit of his wife who had passed away a few years prior. He did not want to banish someone that close to him, but risks must have been made in case it was a demon. It was something from the horror books. A father sharing a wholesome moment with his daughters, but the ending is extremely terrifying to watch. Take a look.
Oh, shit. Fuck, dude. Fuck, man. Nothing here. Nothing here. Oh my god, I'm so... Oh my god, look, legit goosebumps. Oh my god. What the f*** is that?
The look of fear in the man's eyes, and how foreboding the ghost in the background was. Not something you'd want your kids to see. Living in a suburban home means you have a semi-quiet and peaceful place to stay in. But what happens when you realize your home is haunted by a spirit that goes around trashing things and making your life difficult? That's exactly what happened to Donna, a middle-aged woman living in the middle of Louisville, a popular suburban place in Kentucky. Donna lived a happy life, residing in her comfortable apartment all by herself and working from home. Her 2-room apartment was her haven, but after just 6 months of living there, she started to notice some really strange stuff. First, things seemed to be missing around the house a lot, including her car keys, her shampoo, and she constantly found that her favorite bottle of Lynx body spray was somehow always falling off the table where she kept it. At first, she thought it was just rolling off, but over time she realized it had to be something else. One night she decided to put her bottle of Lynx under surveillance and watched some television nearby. What she discovered shocked everyone. Here, take a look.
Anyone see that? Just a normal can. Normal can. You see it again. Just a can. Keeps happening. I'm here, by the way. I'm stood here at the side. Was watching TV. Was. I'm just going to show you this. You don't believe a word I'm saying, guys, do you? Well, there's a bit more for you. This is what I'm getting every single night. This is why I'm up all night. Need help.
Right before our very eyes, the bottle of Lynx was thrown to the floor by an unseen force over and over again. This put Donna into an unexplainable state of fear that she had never felt before, and she was forced to stop recording. Andrew was on vacation in Canada, alone after he's just finished a master's program in Christian spirituality at Sarum College. Andrew had one primary goal. He wanted to explore all the possible Christian history in the Alberta area, all the old churches, monuments, and whatnot. He was extremely excited when he found out that there was an Airbnb he could stay in that used to be the parsonage of an old church. It was exactly what he wanted. However, what he didn't know was that the church was abandoned because of the horrific things that had taken place there during the Second World War. He expected to see some of the Gothic architecture and maybe tour around the old church, but this was not what he got. He walked around the building and even took some pictures. However, his woes started when he arrived home later that night after having dinner.
Okay, that's kind of weird. This thing is moving. There's no fan on or anything. This thing's moving. Holy f***. Holy f***. This is like an old church. It's pretty crazy. Oh shit. That's up. Something going on in here. Okay.
The chandelier started swinging and the curtains even shut all by themselves, while Andrew just stood there in horror as he watched the next few moments of his life unfold before him. After these events, he decided to show the video to his grandma, who was his closest relative, and she advised him to do more background checks on the places he visits. Good advice. Jackson from the creepy corner has been suffering from paranormal activity for the past month. When the hauntings first came around, Jackson was frightened to be in his own home, but after a while, he managed to get used to it. Recently, though, a record peak in paranormal activity happened in his house, and he has been starting to get really frustrated with whatever it thinks it has the right to mess with him. I know this is mental, but over the month of the constant ghostly experiences, Jackson failed to capture one on camera, and the video that you are about to see is the first time he managed to get something.
I haven't been back here for not too long. Can you make the light shut off? So you fuckers think that this is fucking fake? You fuckers think that this is fake? Okay.
This video was sent to his family group chat, who all called him an attention-seeking faker when he told them about what was going on. Strangely, the candle launched itself off from the table and onto the floor, and it was clear that no strings or affecting devices were attached. Jackson finally obtained his proof, and his family stopped considering him to be a psychopath. Now I am going to be very quick to introduce the next series of clips because we have looked at the creator so many times that I have lost count. His name is Muko, and if you have watched another video from this channel, the name will likely ring a bell. Anyways, in the following clips, he was on one of his usual ghost hunts for a client who wanted their house cleansing, and he manages to encounter a heap of paranormal activity. Take a look at the first piece. In a mysterious manner, the wardrobe continued to open and close, whilst letting off some sort of windy noise. Muko stood there, trying his absolute hardest not to interfere with the spirit's fun in order to capture more evidence for his client. But eventually, it inevitably came to a halt. Most ghost hunters would have surrendered in this situation and turned back home to claim their money. However, despite already witnessing enough to get paid, Muko was deeply interested in this poltergeist and wanted to adventure some more, and did. He walked around the house for quite some time until he eventually came across a small, dirty room which appeared to have not been tended to in months. Muko chuckled to himself after seeing what state the place was in, knowing that even if the place was not haunted, the owners had a huge task in cleaning the house. Needn't they worry about this though, because the house was indeed haunted, and the next clip further proves this. In the room, some sort of stool began to move on its own accord, and Muko was taken aback by this. Usually in the presence of a spirit you can feel it, the cold and the darkness, overruling all other conditions. However, he felt none of this, and this remains a mystery to date. Muko went back home and was wire transferred his money, but it did not take long for his next job. Out of the blue, his business phone began to ring, and Muko rushed to answer. You never know when the largest offer of your lifetime could spawn, so he never ignored business calls, and he was lucky he did not miss this one. A wealthy male by the name of Sebastian was willing to pay $5,000 to have his house cleansed of evil, and of course, Muko accepted. This is what he found there.
Началось.
Similarly to the last house, a closet was rocking back and forth, which led Muko to believe that both homes shared the same spirit type. This meant that in order to learn how to defeat one of them, he needed to learn how to defeat both. Make sure to subscribe as Muko's story will be continuing in my next video. In the year of 2010, Donna Ayres became one of the least deserving victims of a haunting ever. She was as innocent as women came and wanted nothing at all to do with evil, having religious texts and ornaments dotted all around her household. Despite this being what was supposed to be a barrier though, it did not stop her divorced husband's ghost from getting to her. You see, many years ago, Donna was in what she believed was an unhealthy marriage and decided to divorce Scott, the male in question. However, he passed away weeks before this clip was caught on tape, and theorists believe that it was very likely he was the cause.
If you're there, please can you move on to the light? I've never been through this before and I've never had any experiences like this. I've never been through this before and I beg in the Lord's name, please, just leave me be, please. It's getting quite frightening now. I have a cross coming down my bloody wall. Oh, I need help. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do it. It's not listening to me. Why would it listen to me? Oh.
The Holy Cross of Jesus Christ slowly eased its way down the wall, and when Donna chose to beckon for help, rather than sit in silence, it thudded onto the ground. If that was the act of her ex-husband, Scott, then maybe it was a great idea to get rid of him. No man who throws a cross to the ground is a man. Elf on the Shelf is a gimmick that has been going on for a very long time, and it is safe to say that the majority of people watching this video are aware of its purpose. I must say that young children should cover their ears though, because what is about to happen reveals stuff that you guys cannot know.
So this is Carol, our Christmas elf. Hello, Carol. Hey, tell Santa we've been really good, okay?
Now, as all of us older people are aware, it is actually the parents who move the elves, which means that they are not in fact supposed to have lives of their own. Because of this, the way its eyes moved in the first place should have been impossible, which leads me, and many other like-minded people, towards one simple conclusion. Some sort of spirit was using the elf as a vessel to gain a somewhat humanoid form again and decided to give this poor woman a fright. Our world is riddenced with non-believers in the paranormal world, and people like the man in the next clip try day in, day out to prove the existence of these interesting entities. No matter how much these people try though, non-believers will always find a logical solution to it, whether it be fishing wire or a minor earthquake. The man in this video, however, did a pretty excellent job at convincing. Have a watch.
This video is for the people out there who think I'm making fake ghost videos. Here's my hands. I have no strings attached to anything. That right there is a vent to my air conditioner unit for the air to come out. There's nothing attached to that. I don't know why some dude thought I was using that for a hoax. I'm in here, I'm hearing strange noises from my living room. Let's check out what we can conjure up. Let's go on the other side of the phone. Here's my hand, here we go. I'm not gonna stop talking so no one thinks I stopped editing, okay? Now, let's see what I can conjure up. If there's any spirits here, feel free to show yourself. Let yourself be known. Apparently I'm haunted because I bought a fucking doll from an estate sale. Is there anything here? Hello? Anybody want to speak? Is anyone here? Hello? Yeah, you saw that fucking shit, didn't you? Hello? You saw that fucking shit? Yeah, explain that fucking shit. Hello? Explain that fucking shit. Fuck that, I'm out of here.
Somehow, despite there being absolutely no cuts and no wire of any sort connected to the pictures, both of them collapsed out of nowhere, almost undeniably proving that poltergeists roam the earth. Of course, as I said though, there will always be a select few people who even choose to deny proof this incredibly surreal, and if you are one of those, then feel free to comment why this was fake. I am keen to hear your reasoning, and am open to being proved wrong. I do not, however, believe that anyone will convince me otherwise that a ghost did this. The night shift. By far one of, if not the most dreaded words for any working person. Working this late has many negative effects, such as ruining your sleep schedule, leaving you a mess the next day, and taking all enjoyment out of the job, which is why so many people hate it. However, after watching the clip that I am about to put on screen, all of these night shift haters will count themselves lucky that they have not been forced to encounter what this poor employee did. His name was Baz, and he worked in a storage faculty. At night, he was left alone in one of the buildings to cater for late dispatches, which did not come much. Little did he know that something else was on shift with him.
Güey, yo por esto les digo que a mí no me gusta quedarme en la oficina solo. La neta, qué mala onda, güey, que se fueron, güey. Les pedí que me esperaran. A mí ya me habían pasado estas cosas. La neta, no se vale.
En una oficina de México se ven cosas paranormales constantemente. Uno de los empleados capta en video los impactantes eventos que ahí ocurren. Vamos a verlos.
Güey, yo por esto les digo que a mí no me gusta quedarme en la oficina solo. La neta, qué mala onda, güey, que se fueron, güey. Les pedí que me esperaran. A mí ya me habían pasado estas cosas. La neta no se vale. Güey. Ahí va. ¡Ey! Ay, güey. ¡Ey! ¿Quién anda ahí? Le voy a marcar a la policía, ¿eh? Esto es propiedad privada. ¡Ay, güey! ¡Ey! ¡Ey! ¡Tú, ven acá! Yo ya voy a pagar todo y yo ya me voy. La neta no es justo, güey. Ustedes me vuelven a hacer esto y yo les renuncio, güey. Ya vámonos a dormir. Yo no estoy para estos jugueteos. Hasta el vecino tiene que venir. Bueno. ¡Ay, güey! No. Güey, vamos ya.
All sorts of unexplainable, outrageously spooky stuff happened within a small time span, leading Baz to chase around this spirit for a long period of time. Now you probably thought that the paranormal activity put enough on the poor man's plate, but his employer did not think in the same way. Baz was sacked for not finishing his work on schedule, and no sympathy was given to him. Harsh, I know. In the following video, the time was 4 a.m. and Sakina was fast asleep. She was a very deep sleeper, and usually her soulmate would have to shake her a lot in order to get her out of bed. This night was strange and different though. At 4, Sakina started to hear her dog howling from downstairs, accompanied by some cold sort of feeling that she is still unable to describe. Due to her boyfriend being out of town, she was forced to go downstairs and investigate, but what she found was definitely unexpected.
Eran las 4 de la mañana y mi perrita no paraba de ladrar cuando salí. Capté esto.
Her dog was barking at seemingly nothing, but upon closer inspection, a shadow figure could be seen in the clip, indicating a ghostly presence. Being the innocent girl she was, Sakina brushed this off as being quote-unquote weird lighting and went back inside, but things only became worse from here.
Hola, gente. Otra vez el ruido ese. Poco estoy haciendo compañía hoy, pero ya estoy sola. Todavía se escucha un ruido de abajo y la verdad que no sé. Ay, la con olor a algo ahí. Sora. Sora, subí. Ay, no, Dios santo. Nera.
At first, Shiva thought the hands were a prank from her boyfriend, but as she approached them, they seemingly no-clipped through the stairs. This was pure proof that she was dealing with a spirit and not a bored boyfriend. James was a 30-year-old man who had no interest in paranormal activity until around a year before the upcoming recording. You see, he lived a normal life and was very outward about his beliefs regarding religion. He believed that science was the only answer, and that a spiritual world is just nonsense. Little did he know that he was about to learn his lesson. Progressively, over the days and months, some odd things started happening in James's house, until eventually he could not ignore it for any longer. He contacted a priest to visit his home and bless it, which they did. However, this did not solve anything because the following clip occurred shortly after.
Yo.
For an unknown reason, James kept hearing a rattling sound coming from the cabinet you could see, and he decided to investigate it. It was at this very moment that his gaming chair turned around without any contact from anything, and this obviously shocked him. He truly believed that getting the house blessed was an amazing idea and would save him from the evil entities, but surprisingly, this was not the case, and things only got more extreme.
Yo. Yo.
Somehow, a few more objects in this room moved, and this was enough to completely convince James that he had no chance of banishing the entity living in his house. He made his new mission to sell the house off at a good price and purchase a new one closer to his parents. We were not updated on how this mission went. In a past video on this channel, we have gone into the life of Daniel, a young adult who was going through one of the worst times of his life. He and his now ex-girlfriend Kate decided they were going to split rent on a property together to make things much easier. However, she broke up with him shortly after and went back to their parents. This really put Daniel in the mud because he had terms with the landlord that the house would be occupied for a minimum of 6 months, so he was going to be billed for that length of time. As if this was not stressful enough, he was struggling to sleep due to some strange phenomena from the closet. At random intervals, he would hear sounds and see movement from inside there, which was what he wanted whatsoever. The video I am about to show you is the most recent one from his struggles, and it gets bad.
So it just started knocking in the closet again, and actually the doll has moved since yesterday because it was in the corner, like kind of on its back looking upwards, and now it's upright, so that's kind of scary. See if it'll knock anymore. Or it'll just move the shirt in the closet. Hey, if you can hear me, just move it again. Alright. We can actually just go check it out. Because there's no one in here. It's not really, it's kind of cluttered, so yesterday it was over here.
Daniel actually managed to communicate with the spirit through moving the shirt, which was quite a smart method of getting around the spirit to human barrier. Surprisingly, the spirit complied with his questions and continued to move the shirt, which proved that there was something present that night, although that being a bad thing. In a very recent video, we witnessed a James experiment which is going to take some additional explaining for those of you who did not watch the content I am referencing. William Sloan was a normal boy who believed that his house was being haunted by a spirit he decided to name James. Every single day, things so far out of the ordinary you would not believe it were happening, and despite William telling his parents all of this, none of them believed a word. In order to counter this, he decided to start running James tests, which were experiments trying to gain evidence of the ghost's existence. This video comes from a rather peculiar test that I believe you should see. Evil spirits are more tempted to tamper with holy books, so William decided it would be smart to place a book discussing religion on his living room bookshelf. As well as this, he put a camera opposite the shelf in order to capture anything that happened to the book on tape, and he caught something all right. Take a look.
Okay. I've been going over the footage from last night, and it's pretty crazy. And I don't know what's going on, but I tell you, I've been blaming my cats since I got them for pulling my records off the shelf. And I don't know, sometimes it might be them, but it definitely wasn't last night.
First of all, the holy book was on the floor in no time, and this proved William's hypothesis at the start of this experiment. Whatever was in his house was evil. Just to put the icing on the cake, James moved an item on the table all the way across it to confirm that the book did not, in fact, magically fall to the ground. This James test proved a success, and comment if you like them, because I will be sure to include more in future. In the following video, Mackenzie was in her room building her new bed when she suddenly got the urge to look out into the neighborhood. This urge came from a dark feeling that something was up, and her heart continuously assured her that this disturbance was coming from outside. Listening to her urges, she went over to the window and checked up on the streets. It was at this point that something extremely strange caught her eye.
I'm like fucking scared. There is no one standing there, but there's a silhouette, like a shadow of a person. Yeah.
Strangely, the shadow of a human could be seen on the wall, and it was evident that nobody was standing on the street. Mackenzie was very perplexed by this, and felt the dark feelings in her body surge further. She knew for certain that this was not meant to be happening. Fortunately though, she was not the only person who got a weird feeling from this, and discovered that her entire audience felt the same way, which forced her to produce a follow-up explanation.
Hi, I decided to record this video because when I saw amount of comments and videos and direct messages for the video that I have recorded like on Saturday, so I was shocked. So people who are saying that it was spray painted, no, it was not. I'm gonna show you a video. I'm gonna show what is happening now. People that are saying that I have photoshopped that, damn, it took me 4 tries for me to be able to record this video, because I didn't realize that there are stories and videos, and in videos you can select 3 minutes long video. So that's another thing. Even though I'm a white lady in her 30s, and usually in horror movies we are killed first, that day, 5 minutes after I took that video, I went downstairs to check what is causing that, because even though I was very scared, I was I'm too curious. Nothing could cause that. Nothing. Tomorrow when I'm gonna go to work, I'm gonna take a video so that if anyone is interested, you can check that yourself. But that, a shadow can be either a direct projection of something, or it needs to have a trail from something that is causing this to have a shadow. I'm oh. But yeah, it did not have that. It did not. And also the the lamppost that was very, very far ahead, it was not reaching. I could see when its shadow was finishing. And also the building that is up on the opposite street, opposite that building, that shadow, it was not causing that. I have no idea. I do believe in those kind of things a bit, but not as much. And I was so scared. I was not a little bit scared. I was scared. But then I decided to enjoy my bank holiday weekend. And people from UK, I hope you enjoyed the bank holiday. Yeah. So as you see, there is nothing. Nothing at all. Yeah. That's a lamppost on next to my neighbors. And it would project here. So yeah. Nothing.
In this explanation, she broke down the important aspects of the prior clip and debunked all of the allegations that the shadow was not that of a ghost. The main theory was that it was cast by something real and only appeared as a human figure, But after having a look at the street towards the end of the explanations, this theory was shut down immediately. Mike and Sam were two well-renowned ghost hunters around their town, and when I say renowned, I mean it. They would go on expeditions every week desperate to find scientific evidence of the paranormal world, and in the next clip they came very close. It took place in the woodlands next to a highway, where it was rumored that somebody passed away willingly. Their goal on this mission was to capture an interaction with the spirit of that person on camera, to prove that spirits are always watching over their point of death, and it went well in that book.
My name is Mike, this is my friend Sam. Hello. We don't mean any disrespect. We're only here to learn and communicate. This may be your last opportunity to communicate with anyone.
Whenever you asked that last question, the camera just died.
Really? Was it charged?
Yeah, it was fully charged. I mean, I K2, check the K2. Something over there?
I haven't seen anything, bro.
Dude, something moved over there, I swear. Wait, it's moving.
Whoa! What's that?
If you paid very close attention to the ending of this clip, a pale figure could be seen gliding across the camera. This was very weird considering Mike and Sam were the only people on the expedition, and the figure looked way too transparent to be that of a human being. I guess the truth is that we will never really know though. All we do know is that this is the closest that Mike and Sam got to undeniable evidence of the paranormal world.